Looking good, Billy Ray.
Feeling good, Lewis.
All right, friends, we're out here with Billy from Permaculture's farm, and of course I'm Ben, and we are out on your remediation site. We stripped down at church, changed clothes, well, not in front of everybody, changed clothes and hot-footed over here after church to help out over here in Marshall. And so what are we doing today?
Everybody, well, they probably think we're in the middle of a slasher movie because you got a knife and I got a pitchfork.
Are we not? Are we not?
Yeah, so we're close to Asheville, but we're not going to be chopping up any Marchies around here. No weirdos on this project, but no, it's cool because Living Soil Foundation, which so many of you people have given to, have basically, excuse me, they've made so many donations that we were able to go ahead and move to phase 2 on this project by the river. When we had it tested, I mean, it had all the awful things in the world you could ever think about right here in this river that washed downstream from Asheville, which is basically that way.
No, we're wearing gloves the whole time.
Oh yeah, it's a mess. And it deposited itself right here. So we've been working on the bioremediation for months now, coming out basically putting out a compost extract weekly from the time, about a month in, from that time, every week until now. So we think we've crossed the finish line, but we don't have the testing results back yet. So we're hoping to get that. But anyway, we feel like we're far enough along that we can go ahead and start putting the trees out. And so Ben and Denise and a whole bunch of other volunteers came out today. And it's pretty cool because it was kind of an impromptu thing. I mean, we found out, I think it was Thursday that we were going to be doing this, and this is Sunday.
Yep.
You guys were cool enough to, swing by after church and
that's the thing is we've been to events like this and you think, oh, you're gonna get a whole bunch of people and nobody shows up. So we wanted to make sure that we were here for you just in case that happened.
Well,
but yeah, there's been a lot of people that showed up. I mean,
yeah, but what's funny is that all the ones, now I'm going to be a little bit critical right now, but all the ones who are, let's say, into
the rah-rah cheerleaders.
Yeah, not one of them showed up. Not one of the people that said, oh, we got to get this done. Not one of them showed up.
Well, knock me over.
Yeah, not one of them showed up. And, the ones that were so gung-ho about getting this done, which, maybe they have other things they want to do, but, it sure is funny that all of us over the age of 50 seem to show up. How about that?
Who's over 50?
Yeah.
I'm gonna wash that gray right out of my hair.
I think he's got me by a year, maybe 2.
I think 2.
2?
Yeah.
2 years, yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah, he says my breath smells like Similac baby formula. So, yeah, it's cool. It's cool that the people showed up that did. Some of them with their kids in tow. You can see them over there playing around, having fun on the rocks.
Yeah, and big hats off to Allison over at Farm Connection.
Yeah.
She brought in 2 loads of trees and bushes and all that. And when we got here, we pulled up about a half hour late just because of church. I'm looking, there's a lot of plants. We're never going to get this all done. We planted, Denise and I and Michelle planted like 4 or 5 trees, turned around and like everything's out distributed. People are just going to town on it. I mean, I wish we had that kind of help when we were planting.
Oh man, yeah, maybe there's a lesson here in all this is generally when you do this sort of thing, many hands truly do make light work. But
Absolutely.
It's also realizing that, it could be a training, which was part of, you guys are old hands at this, so you know what you're doing. And it was kind of cool that you and Denise were able to all the people that have never done this before, and I didn't realize how many of them haven't done this before, but I guess I should have got a clue at the tree sale that they had.
Plants for everyone. Yeah.
That I guess they have record numbers at this thing. So people are starting to ask critical questions about where the food's coming from. Because even though we got a new person in the White House, at the end of the day, nothing's changed on anybody's dinner table. Prices are still the same and they're getting worse. Chicken prices, egg prices are going to go up another 45%. So people, I hope, are starting to realize, you know what, we didn't cross that finish line yet. Mm-hmm. So
at least maybe we're steered in the right direction.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get there. But, I don't know if we told you, but we got contacted from the Burnsville farmers market. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, are you going to be selling chicken? And we're like, no, because last year they had 4 vendors, too much competition, and pricing and all that. We didn't raise up any meat birds, and we would have been a one-man show out there. But
Wow, so none of them are showing up this
Nobody.
year? Wow. Well, see, that's the cool thing about what we're doing right now is that in this design that's out there, you now have an orchard, and you could be running your chickens down through these lanes through here. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do it. Everybody thinks that we have to do everything in isolation, where your chickens are over here, your orchard's over there. You can integrate all this stuff, even in a postage stamp backyard. And I think, honestly, talking to some of the people that have already had to leave right now, that's one of the big things they're taking away from this, is that, you know, when I was talking about like some of the Asian folks, their minds were blown when Denise was done talking about the comfrey, because I just kind of, you know, gave, hey, this is where it goes. And then when she was done telling them about it, they stopped me a little bit ago and said, I did not know this could do all these things. And this yarrow, it could do all these things. So, and then she says to me, you know, English is clearly wasn't her first language, but she's saying, I didn't know that it could feed the trees and feed me too. Yeah. So, I mean, when you see that eureka moment happen in the eyes of people that have never done this before, it just feels so good, you know. It feels so good inside. So this is one of those days, you know, daylight saving time, we all lost an hour, so maybe that's why all the people from Asheville didn't show up.
They slept in.
Yeah,
Maybe that was it.
So they didn't get up at the crack of noon,
right?
So they got up at the crack of 1. So
yeah, well,
but no, it's beautiful when you see all of it come together. And then, like you said, when I look at the I'm sitting here looking at this, and I'm looking at it from my own eyes, and I'm thinking, man, this is like you. I was sitting here thinking, boy, this is going to take a while. This is going to take all day, and we're done, essentially, except for getting this mulch right here out on top of the mulch rings, which can happen anytime. The most important thing is that we got them in the ground, and there's already straw down. So if we don't get the heavy mulch on today, it's not the end of the world. So
I don't know if you can hear that in the background. That's geese. They're back. They haven't been here until the last couple weeks.
Yeah, they showed up about a month ago, really.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so we first saw them. We saw them out here. I was out here spraying some of the extract out, and then all of a sudden the geese started showing up. And we're like, oh, okay, that's a good sign.
That is a very good sign.
Yeah.
No idea.
Well, one of the downsides is that this river is about 4 times wider than it was. Mm-hmm. So there's some stream bank restoration that's going to have to happen, where they're going to make like a jetty out there, and then they're going to start pushing out this stream bank another 60 feet.
That's big equipment.
Yeah.
Not doing that with your pitchfork there.
No, it's going to take some, but that's really the problem right now, is that we're hoping that some of these trees are going to help keep some of the things in place, and you know, there's big dreams, but you know, the restoration has got to start somewhere. So I can't thank y'all enough for coming out here, and all the other people that showed up. So maybe next time we'll have to do this again. I'm sure there'll be a phase 2. So maybe we'll give people a you know, more than just 2 or 3 days notification. Yeah. And maybe they want to come out here and learn how to do these things properly. Yeah. So
people are eager to learn, and it's funny because people listen to you and they'll come over to me and it's like, don't you think these trees are too close together? And I'm like, you know, I used to think exactly the same way. It's like, you know, but I said, it works. Trust me. We've been up to Billy's place and it's like tree, tree, tree. I mean, they're close together. I would never have dreamed of planting that close.
But it's further away than a standard orchard. If people go to a regular orchard, in a standard orchard, you'll have a monocrop of the same tree 5 feet apart. And they'll train them down to where, you know, they're made for production. But you know what, at the end of the day, that's all they can do there. And if they ever have a problem, the entire orchard's wiped out.
Lose it. Yep.
So the way we're teaching these folks out here today, and boy, that was just beautiful.
Geese landed. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the way we're teaching them out here is that we want to try to look out in the nature and see how it's done there, and then replicate it in our orchards, in our food forests, and then realize that these things don't have to be reductionistic systems. In our Western culture, that's really what we lost in all this. We think everything has to be in isolation. You put this over here.
Straight rows.
Right.
Yeah. That's been probably Denise's hardest part about this.
Mine too.
Is letting go of the organization and just mimicking nature. Because just like you pointed out over there, it's you know, you look around and, you know, there's a tree and a bush and everything growing on top of each other. That's how nature does
there's
it.
beauty in chaos, I'm seeing now.
Chaos, that's it.
You know what? That's exactly it. And then, you know, I used to look at it because being a trained journeyman electrician, everything has to be plumb and level. Mm-hmm. And
he is meticulous. He helped us with our electric labeled, perfect corners, meticulous. It's beautiful.
Even though it's not going to be seen, even though it's behind sheetrock,
yep,
it's still just a craftsperson's ethic to make sure things are level and plumb, but when you look in nature, you don't see that. So, you have to turn that part of your brain off. It's like when we process animals, which we're going to be doing here in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
You love these animals, you do all the wonderful things for them, and then when it's time to put them in the freezer, you have to turn that, and it's not everybody can do it. I know you can, and it's tough, and I know it's tough for me.
Yep.
And and it doesn't get any easier, but that's what you have to do. You have to retool your mind for whatever the application may require.
Right.
And in this case, it helps that the homeowner, well, they used to have a home. They don't have a home anymore, but the property owner out on this site is willing to kind of give us carte blanche as far as how things would go. So I kind of let him know what we wanted to do. We just stood back, and he took over the reins, and then it's not the design necessarily I would do, but it's the design that works best for their family.
Right.
Because these are folks that are constantly in transit, they're constantly on the road, they're constantly very, very busy. And so they need a design that works for their lifestyle.
Perfect. That's the class you mentioned. We are sold out.
Oh,
Yep. Waiting list. We'll take a couple names on a waiting list, but we are sold out. So March 29th, we'll be processing 3 sheep. And we'll be talking about that. But so one thing I wanted to bring up, and I get this question all the time. I'm walking down the street and like, hey, I don't know you, but you know Billy, right? Like, uh-oh.
you mean they didn't mistake you for Kevin Bacon?
Why you? Oh no, you didn't.
They do. But once they get over the shock of that,
Did you see the glare on Denise? Like,
I didn't even
why
have
did
to.
you-
I didn't even have to look. I didn't have to look. Yes, I get that frequently, at least once a month.
I was there. We were there when a lady came up and said, "Hey, you look like Kevin Bacon."
And Denise replies, "He does not."
He'll do his
Anyway.
Footloose dance later.
No, he doesn't.
There
He
you
does
go.
not look like Kevin Bacon.
Okay, but the real question is, they want to know, what is a hoople head?
Well, a hooplehead Marchie. See, I didn't invent all these terms. I just kind of put. See, I'm trying to get more creative in my profanity. So I don't use profanity not because I have a I don't use profanity because I have a moral disagreement with it. Because if you know the history of it, you realize that these are words that the elite didn't want us to say. I disagree with it. I don't disagree with it. I don't use it because it requires less imagination. So I'm trying to come up with more creative ways to cuss people out
I see.
without being offensive.
Right.
So I could call them a corpuscle, which sounds like a bad word, but it isn't. Or,
Sounds like something needs to be lanced, but
right.
So hoople head is just
hoop-
your own creative.
No, that's not me. I don't even know where I got it from, but it just sounded like a hooplehead Marchie. Just sounds like you ought to be offended when I say
Right.
it.
Yes.
It's just a way of it's finding a more creative way to cuss people out creatively. So I'm trying, if I can do that creatively, and I'm thinking, okay, well, you know what, maybe it'll blossom in other parts of my life.
There you go. Now, my friends' daughters, when they would fight, they weren't allowed to cuss each other out, so they would just say, "You're fantastic."
Well, I used another word that begins with F, and
Food.
yeah, there's that.
Free.
Oh yeah, there's
Okay.
all those words. Yeah, I've been known to knock the mothballs off those words from time to time, but I've been trying to get away from doing it, and so I'm just coming up with more creative ways to invent profanity.
Okay. Fair enough. Besides, we do have kids that watch the channels, and we don't want to.
Oh yeah,
We don't want to.
yeah. I'd much rather a kid call each other hooplehead or something of that nature than something less creative. Plus,
There you go.
honestly, at the end of the day, there's a whole lot of things that come out of our mouths that escape our lips that you can't take back.
Right.
So, and I'm trying to get better at that because it's not always my best quality, and I'm trying. It's of all the things I've tried to improve in my life, that's been the most difficult. I'm trying to
and-
mind what comes out of my mouth
and
because
you-
honestly, death and life is all in the tongue. So.
Well, and you come from some military trainings where
Oh yeah, man.
rough words are
Well, yeah, and you know what? I was pretty good at it too.
I bet.
I was exceptional at profanity.
Most military people I know are exceptional with it.
Oh yeah, I've invented up. Yeah, that's
Anyway,
another video altogether.
That's right. Anyway, so yeah, we hear them say hooplehead, on your podcast and on YouTube, and it's like, what is a hooplehead? And I keep forgetting to ask. So, and no, I don't get stopped on the street for hooplehead.
Well, it's better than saying MF.
That's true.
And it means exactly what you think it does.
There you go.
Motivational figure.
That's it. All right. Well, I know there's people waiting on you. We got to go get some more mulch down, but it is a beautiful day. We came out to help, and you know, it's a blessing anytime we can get with these guys, and we just really appreciate them. And I know the people in this community really appreciate what you're doing there, because
they appreciate
you know,
y'all.
I don't without getting political, I don't see FEMA out here. I don't see any of the state workers. I don't see any other work going on other than what you're doing. So I know.
Well, bro, to that point, that's what we're hoping to do with the Living Soil Foundation. Is we don't take a profit out of this. 100% of all the donations go precisely to the work, to the testing, and that's what other people that are in this space aren't doing. I mean, you have no idea whether or not you cross the finish line in terms of your toxicity unless you're testing. Well, these comprehensive tests that we're doing cost $8,000 a pop, and so, I mean, this is expensive stuff. So I can't thank a lot of you folks out there enough for, and I know, you know, it's harder than it's ever been to put bread on the table in our lives. I mean, it hasn't been this bad since I can recall, and it's harder now than ever. And so for the people that write to us, I mean, people send us letters, and it'll break you down, man. When you see somebody who's on a fixed income and all they have is $2 and they send it in a check.
Wow. And
you pick it up at the P.O. box and they apologize about not being able to do more. It just makes me feel, man, I have a greater responsibility to make sure that this stuff goes exactly where it's supposed to, because, I mean, these people want to see this needle move, and it starts right here. I think this is where it starts, because, as you said, without becoming political, which we both know I could do.
just a little.
Yeah, just a little. Without becoming political, maybe this is a lesson in how we can all decentralize our lives, how we can, you know, move the needle without the aid or assistance of government, because I honestly, truly believe at this point, if we're going to do anything worthwhile, it's going to have to come from us.
Yep.
All of us.
Yep. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, and can't thank you enough for doing it.
Yeah. Well, we are planting, and if you're inspired to go plant, you will need your Hori Hori knife. Shameless plug here. Great tool. Rosewood and black.
That's especially handy when we were putting in those daffodils, especially in a mulch ring, y'all.
That's why I grabbed it.
That tool is fantastic. Better. I usually use my knife, but I just realized today that this is without a doubt far superior, because you can stab the cardboard through multi-layers of cardboard, where I can't do that with my knife. Stab it through there, pull it back, put your daffodil in, and then you're off and running. So, yeah, that is a fantastic tool.
And that metal goes full tine. Denise has not been able to break this yet, which she broke a whole lot of other handles with all the rock we have out here, but we love this tool. We had it designed.
Give it to Michelle. She could break a ball bearing.
I'd like to see her try it.
Remember that thing in Thor Ragnarok where she grabbed a hold of that Thor's hammer and it busted apart?
Yeah, I don't watch it.
Yeah. Michelle, that was a documentary about Michelle.
If she
knows it's true too.
Well, if she can break one, we'll replace it for free.
No, but that thing is the cat's meow. Plus, what I love about it, if this is your tree, let me just say this out here, because honestly, this is really cool. You can I talk about using your hand as a measuring device. Like on my fist, that's 4 inches, that's 6. And if you can use this, if this is your tree and you're putting in your guild around it, this is a really good, let's say you need 2 feet. Okay, there's 1, there's 2. Plant your whatever it is right there. And then you put it in the ground, bam, daffodil goes in here. This thing is slick as snot, man. I love this thing.
I have yet to have to sharpen this. I mean, it's held that nice edge. And there.
Yeah, I love it.
Great tool. So, shameless plug. I wanted to throw that in there because we do have them available on RenewedHomestead.com/shop, and get them. They make great gifts too.
Yeah.
Everybody wants one of these in their stocking.
Not in their back though.
No, there's enough of that going on around here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hope you learned something. I hope it was a blessing to you. I know, like I said, being out here with you guys, it's a blessing to us because we can give back, as we have been helped many, many times with this whole hurricane and with our charity, the Gem Foundation, and everything. So anytime we can give back, we love to do it. So.
Well, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, take care. God bless. You know we're praying for you, and we appreciate the prayers in kind. So we'll see you on the next video. Thanks, Billy.
Thank you, brother.
Bye.
Make it so.